So, I just recently found out that Goosebumps rebooted the series, and everyone remembers the Goosebumps books, and maybe even heard of the Goosebumps movie with Jack Black that came out before the whole chicken jockey thing, you know. But before all that, there was kind of a well-known Goosebumps show in the 90s, and although I didn't grow up in the 90s, it's still one of my favorite shows to watch, so I wanted to talk about it. I'm also just realizing that this first episode titled The Haunted Mask is the first one. I honestly thought it was way later in the series, but I don't know, it's just dumb freaking Netflix removing the seasons and mislabeling the seasons, and screw this freaking site, bruh. For people who don't know what Goosebumps is, to do the obligatory YouTuber explanation for the weenies out there that haven't heard. So basically this guy named R.L. Stine wrote a bunch of horror books aimed at children in the 1700s, back when he was by candlelight. There were short stories aimed at children so they could stop watching Kai Cenat streams and eating full metal rebarb in one sitting. Also, think of these sort of books as Stephen King books, but more aimed at children. They have these like creative sort of comical concepts that have sort of a 90s classic aesthetic, you know, the 90s classic of children finding ghosts, goblins, and ghouls all around their neighborhood. And then the books got made into a TV show. So yeah, it's kind of a monster of the week type of show, but it features new kids every episode, and they are basically the same every time. Like, they have the same personality and stuff. It's kind of funny, but I'll talk more about the episodes in the future. I don't know, XD. The Haunted Mask, I honestly remember being some of the most interesting in terms of episodes, not in the way where the show later finds its footing with just its insane concepts, but just some of the most well executed that the show has to offer. Like, don't get me wrong, it isn't a high art, but I genuinely think that they might have been tryharding with this first episode, and some of the more longer ones. Some episodes can be two-parters, and the two-parters can definitely be a lot more developed than fitting the whole concept into just a 20-minute runtime with the usual episodes. So yeah, that's something to note, as this first episode of The Haunted Mask is 40 minutes. So for the plot of this episode, we follow Carly Beth.
Carly Beth.
Carly Beth.
Carly Beth.
Carly Beth.
The Carly Bear.
Carly Beth.
Carly Beth the scaredy cat. Carly Beth the scaredy cat.
Carly Beth the scaredy cat. Carly Beth the scaredy cat.
Yes, I know that's her name. This is the 90s. We're naming our kids funny names. It is what it is, guys.
It's me.
She is known to her peers as the Scaredy Cat. She gets scared of minor things like getting jump scared by Five Nights at Freddy's, by people, or even just imagining things that aren't there. She's also getting bullied by these two boys, and they put a worm in her sandwich, which is just like insane. I don't know how you even come up with that. This is kind of the quirky stuff they were doing to scare people in the 90s or something. Even her friends call her out for being too scared, which is like, what the hell? I thought you were supposed to be on her side, but Carly Beth is just too scared, and it's just such a problem for everyone else. God damn. And who even names their kid two names anyways? I would bully her too. It actually just feels like everyone is against Carly Beth in the beginning. Like, what is going on? Why can't she just catch a break? So she eventually has enough of this image of being scared all the time and wants to get back at the bullies and, you know, make them feel how she feels when she's scared. She goes to like this costume shop, and the vibes in here are just insane, let me tell you. I love all the set design and the costumes in the show. How much the show is like campy. It's crazy that they're making so much different stuff for each episode and putting this level of care into each set piece. Even some of the CGI, although bad, can sometimes look pretty dang good for the time. Especially for like a TV show instead of a movie. Like, there is this scene where the masks are floating towards her, and it looks pretty cool and interesting. She gets this super scary mask. She chooses literally the worst, most evil one, but oh no, who would have thought? It's evil, and it's slowly taking over her body. She can't tell if the mask is evil or if she is really the evil one anymore. That's what the point of the mask is, and all that they can ask is, why are you so sad, kid? The mask starts to become stuck to her, And after scaring the bullies from earlier and being an absolute menace to the people around her and the people trick-or-treating, she goes back to the costume shop and asks the creepy guy to help remove the mask because she can't get it off. And it's revealed that he can't remove the mask unless there's a symbol of love. Then she can take off the mask. It's also revealed that the masks are sort of alive and changing things about the wearer. The mask maker creepy man originally made them to be beautiful, but then they became corrupt and evil or something. So she takes off the mask and everything is good on Halloween night, and she learns the true meaning of friendship or whatever. Who knows?
Beware, you're in for a scare. From the pages of R.L. Stein's best-selling books comes a brand new series of Goosebumps videos. Videos that will creep you out, freak you out, or simply make you laugh your head off.
Oh, man.
Picked on at home, picked on at school, Carly Beth is out for a little fun revenge.
I need a really scary mask.
But has this Halloween prank gone too far?
I don't know. But I like it.
So now that we have talked about the basic plot, I want to talk about theming, because I think the first episode does a good job at doing the wacky concept that R.L. Stein came up with, while giving it depth and a larger meaning without forcing it in your face. In the beginning of the episode, Carly Beth's mom makes this mask / sculpture of Carly Beth, which is kind of creepy, honestly, more than the mask she wears. There's just something off-putting about it. It's just weird. Carly Beth doesn't like this mask and kind of correlates it to the self-image she has of herself of being like a scaredy cat or too scared or not being tough enough, you know? Her mom gets her like this childish like duck costume and refuses to wear it under the notion that she is going to continue to be like soft or something.
Cute? Last thing I want to be on Halloween is cute. I want to be scary this time.
This is the other reason, besides getting bullied, that she goes to get the mask in the first place, because she just doesn't want to wear the duck costume as well. So for the costume that she actually wears for Halloween, she doesn't just wear the costume with the scary goblin mask she gets from the creepy guy. She puts on a black trench coat and puts her mom's sculpture like on a stick with a red scarf under it. I think implying that she staked her own head on a stick, which is kind of horrifying when you think about it, and graphic too. Like, are we serious? I did not know Carly Beth was gnarly like that. She is announcing that this isn't just revenge for bullying. She is proving to herself that she's like committed full-on ego death and that she can bully people just as well as the next person, you know, or the next bully. This is kind of the concept that people don't talk about with bullying, is that usually when you bully someone, it results in them being put down and sort of forcing them to be silent and not validating their existence. But the other outcome that I think people don't notice as much is that it can just lead to more hatred and violence. So it's just like this cycle, because you want revenge for being treated by the world this way, you know, where you become part of the bullying and want revenge on the world, you know. And I know it could be more complicated than that, but that's clearly what's happening in this episode.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna make Chuck and Steve wish they never, ever met me.
And I think it's kind of sad that she has to like figuratively kill herself in order to feel right in some sort of weird way. I don't know.
And that head. It looks so real. Where'd you get it?
Oh, it's me. It's who I used to be.
I know I'm reading too far into this, but it's important to understand why Carly Beth is wanting to bully other people rather than just trying to get away from the people that are picking on her. I haven't read any of the Goosebumps books, so maybe there's some kind of theming in the books about this episode that has like similar things about bullying, but I respect that they actually tried to explore this concept in a goofy TV show for kids in more than just like a straightforward script type thing. And some of the episodes are like that, but this one tried to be like have more subtlety and actually have subplot to it, you know? Because I feel like there's so much TV out there that doesn't really have any message or any more to it, or don't even try to have subtle messaging in the show or like subplot or anything. And I feel like that's so important for it making your show actually fun and like believable and interesting. Like in this episode, they don't show her being kind of sort of mean. Like she is a menace in some of these scenes. She makes some vague threats to kids and to this lady handing out candy. She rips apart these kids' costumes and she throws the candy on the ground. Like, what is going on? This is crazy, Carly Beth. Like, if they remade this episode now, they would have not had this bit in, probably, where she's like just an absolute menace to people. But what it does is it shows this duality of her character, where you can't tell if like the mask is really her or she actually wants to do this stuff.
What's happened to you? You're like somebody else. Somebody I don't even know. It's not me, Sabrina. It's the mask. The mask made me do it.
But with this mask in the episode, I think it honestly gives Carly Beth a license to just ball out and go crazy on people with the bullying. It's kind of vague if Carly Beth is doing this stuff on her own, or if it's the evil mask is like an evil person taking over. Because at points, it's mentioned that it changes her voice. However, I think I lean more on the side that she's just doing it herself, or maybe a bit of both. There's this point where she can't take off the mask because it's become too attached to her. I like that idea too, and I think it's good writing because it shows that you can't really undo your actions. People talk about changing yourself for the better all the time, but it works the same way for changing yourself for the worse, you know? Your personality and self-image reflect the actions you take and will continue to take. She even buries the sculpture of herself to show that she's fully over her old self. Later on in the episode, she has to retrieve it back to get her old self-image back and take off the mask, because the sculpture is the symbol of love, and maybe even the sculpture could mean self-love, but I think the episode more meant it like the image that like her mom sees of her and more love that way or something, I don't know. But on the other hand, for the argument that the mask is its own personality, the sculpture of Carly Beth literally comes alive. Are we serious?
Help me.
Why isn't this in those compilations of cultural moments we don't reference enough? She comes alive, and the CGI is so funny and insane at the same time. This symbol of love, letting her take off the mask and accepting herself, or whatever corny message you want to make out of it. But I do like at the end that she accepts the sculpture from her mom, even if it's creepy and ugly, LMAO. So yeah, that's basically the episode. There are many campy moments that I love from this show. The child acting is just freaking not okay how insane it is, and I love it so much. You also just don't get this blurry TV look anymore, like the fog, the lighting, but it fits so perfect for Goosebumps because it makes the more comic aspects of the costumes and concepts in the show more believable and look way better. It makes it feel like it has a glare on it or like a specific bloom that makes the frame way more dreamlike. I don't know how to describe it other than like cozy or something. I don't know. But these Goosebumps episodes give me such like a weird sense of comfort and like for a more family-oriented, simpler time, when you just had to worry about the monster of the week and homework, and you would just meet a weird kid and go on an insane adventure from the neighborhood, you know? I swear, every single episode they have a loving family and good friends. It just feels good to see that on TV, because you really don't anymore. Although I think this is on the more well-executed side of episodes in the Goosebumps series, I think it lacks some of the weird things that happen, and although I think the set design and costume design is some of the best in this series as well, I think they do a better job at finding what makes the show great and diving more deep into the stranger and funnier concepts in the later episodes. This one is honestly kind of more serious, and I wonder if they were trying to take the show more seriously in the beginning. The acting isn't as half-effort as it is in some of the later episodes. Like Carly Beth and everyone else, I felt were trying pretty hard to make something work here, even if it didn't turn out. And a lot of episodes of the show also do a good job about world building, where they reveal some things, but not everything. Like the creepy guy who sells her the mask has a deformity on his face, implying that the face he has on right now isn't his own, or maybe something happened bad to it. in the past with making the masks that made the deformity. It doesn't tell you why Fanes are haunted, because they just are, which I like a lot about the show, or how the mask's mouth becomes detached and can attach to the jaws of the wearer, implying the mask is alive, because when you see it on the rack, the teeth are glued together and aren't separated. This episode just doesn't tell you that stuff. Even if this episode has some unnecessary exposition compared to others, I think it still does a good job. Anyways, thanks for watching.